Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Good morning to all of you out there. It is another episode of 757 Sports Talk, and it's powered by Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and always subscribe, plus interact with us all morning long. It's a busy, and I do mean busy, sports weekend as the wild card round gets underway in the National Football League. We've got our national championship set for college football. We've got lots of high school basketball sound. Plus, for those of you that missed our internet exclusive from the other day with Poquoson native, loyal listener and viewer, broadcaster, announcer, wrestling extraordinaire Jason Bryant, a.k.a. Twinkie, as people still know him around the 757. You'll hear from Jason about the Virginia Duals that are underway as we speak right now. And Ed's so jealous he didn't get a chance to catch up with Jason because he was in the middle of class or practice. Or, like I said, practicing class and teaching / coaching, and maybe coaching and practicing, other things. But your team's on a 4-game winning streak. I thought it was 3, but it's actually 4. So congratulations to you, sir. You got a winning record, and you are in a better mood than you usually are.
Yeah, we got number 6 on this season last night, third of the week. It's been a week, 3 games, practices. And like I told somebody last night, we played 10 games. I feel like I've been out there for 10 months.
So you beat this week, you beat Gloucester on the road, you beat York at home, and was that on the road? York was on the road, and you beat Jamestown at home, right?
Yeah, 2 on the road, 1 at home.
A home sandwiched in between 2 roadies from a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, NBA schedule, 3 games in 5 days. By the way, at York, I meant to ask you, did you catch up with Doug Pereira, who announced he's retiring?
Yeah, I was going to fuss him out face to face because we got to have the smoke, the blue smoke, but he was nowhere to be seen. We're going to have to get him on. And
well, he knew you were coming and he decided to hide, which is a good move. You're coming.
Yeah,
you get out of the building when Ed's coming.
We got to find out what the heck is going on with Doug. He decided, is he definitely done, or is he just going to take a break, or what is going with that?
No,
maybe he's in line for one of the NFL.
No.
We got to see what's going on with him.
You said openings for the NFL. Is that what you said? There's a bunch of those, by the way. You
put your hat in the ring. Openings. Maybe he's going to throw his hat in one of those rings.
I don't think he will. But let's start with the college football semifinals from last night. And I have to tell you, I really have to tell you, Ed, that we talked about this when the playoffs started. Going back to that Friday night game when Alabama rallied past Oklahoma, and that is that Curt Cignetti is just incredible. I'm going to show you 2 things on the screen here. The first thing is this graphic that was put out there by Yahoo Sports. Look at this here. 55 number of 4 and 5 stars on the roster for Oregon and Dan Lanning, 8 for Curt Cignetti's Indiana Hoosiers. Just 8. 8. And Indiana thumped them. I mean, thumped them on Friday night. Wasn't even competitive. They got a pick 6 right off the shoot. Bang. And away they were rolling. 56-22 over the Ducks. And Fernando Mendoza as efficient as can be. And by the way, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 touchdowns were scored by Virginia natives in this national semifinal. 2 by Kaelon Black, the running back from Salem High and Virginia Beach, and 2 by Elijah Surratt on pass receptions from Mendoza. He leads the team with 15 touchdown catches. He out of Stafford, Virginia, and Colonial Forge High School. So how about that? Indiana's just been crushing people. And like we've been saying, we had David Glenn on the show. You remember David Glenn came on?
Yes.
At the start of the playoff. And I threw it to David about Curt Cignetti being the smartest guy in the room and how he's done this.
Curt Cignetti is a guy that y'all got to know a little bit better during his time at James Madison. We got to know better. He was the head coach at Elon University here in North Carolina. That guy has put together, no matter how this season ends, one of the greatest 2-year starting stretches in the history of college football. And I don't think that's an exaggeration. The long story short is that if you looked at 100+ years of Indiana football, a school, of course, far more well-known for Bob Knight and men's basketball national championships, maybe the 2 best seasons in the history of the school are last year and this year under a brand new coach. That is just – I mean, Indiana rarely posts a winning record in conference play in the Big Ten. And I mean going back to before all of us were born. And yet here he is, college football playoff 2 years in a row, number 1 seed this time, Big Ten champions for, I think, the second time in Indiana football history. It is as good a story as we have seen in college football in recent years. And it's been fun to watch a guy that we've both gotten to know a little bit kind of behind the scenes, pulling the reins behind the curtains.
Yeah, let me ask you to follow up on that before I bring in my cohort, Coach Engel. I now see is done with basketball practice and weightlifting to ask you some questions too here, David. We'll go through the other first-round matchups we have today. What Cignetti's doing is remarkable. You just touched on it. You know about his father, Frank Cignetti, being an old coach as well. But he comes in from JMU, and a lot of folks said he's not going to be able to upset the apple cart, if you will. But he brought in some players from JMU, like a Kalon Black, who was a running back from our area in Virginia Beach and Salem High, some other transfers that were players that were, the higher end FCS, lower end FBS tier prospect. And he gets Mendoza from Cal. Is he just smarter than everybody else in the room right now? I mean, it feels like he is. He's got that cockiness and edge to him, but it's looking like it. The results are speaking for themselves.
I think he is smarter than most people in the room. That's how you win at a place like Elon, which is not anything close to an FCS juggernaut. They don't have a lot of top 25 FCS seasons at Elon, and yet he got that done. You don't have a lot of playoff years at Elon. He got that done. So this has been a theme through multiple coaching stops, and I think you circled part of his genius there. Remember, if you can bring, I'll put it this way, the easiest players to evaluate, for whether it's high schools, junior colleges, major college transfer portal, any of us is going to be a better judge of talent if we've been coaching that young man for a year or 2 or 3, right? So when he brings his best JMU players or several of them to Indiana, the benefit is twofold. One, you're going to make far fewer evaluation mistakes. If you don't know your own guys, you don't know how to evaluate talent, and he certainly knows how to evaluate talent. But 2, they help build your culture. It's like hitting the ground with a running start because you have a segment of assistant coaches and a portion of your roster, even if a small percentage, that you don't have to explain how you like things done. You don't have to really communicate your principles every single day to those folks, and they help forward your agenda just because they're so familiar with you from your time at JMU. So he's not the only coach who's succeeded in part by bringing guys with him, coaches and players from his previous school. But I do think it's been one of the building blocks for his success with the Hoosiers.
So there you heard it, Ed. David Glenn talking about Curt Cignetti and what he's done there. It's pretty impressive. And now they're installed as, I think the first line I saw, a 7.5-point favorite on the U, Mario Cristobal's Miami Hurricanes. I know this much. So we'll dive into the game here in a second. Regardless of who wins, the post-game interview is going to be as boring. You're going to hear Cristobal can't keep saying 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. My gosh, give it a rest. And Cignetti hardly ever smiles. You got to really tug at him to make him crack a smile. He did crack one, though, on a TD from Kalon Black on Friday night. But it's going to be pretty dry, the post-game interview. Not a lot of jubilation from the winning coach, you would think, knowing these two guys.
Yeah, because a lot of us said, including me, Miami didn't belong. And then I twisted it and said it was Alabama because of their third loss of the year, and then they lost to Georgia in the SEC championship. And I still say it right now. And, of course, you know who I wanted to be in there, but I'm not going to go back on that.
Get over Notre Dame. It's enough about Notre Dame. They're not playing.
Now, the thing about Indiana and Cignetti, as somebody once said, let me learn y'all something about in coaching.
Learn us.
Everybody's going berserk about this and the magic. smartest guy in the room stuff.
He is.
He's not.
What he's not? Who's smarter than him in the room? Let me hear it. Who?
No. It's very simple. He did a great job of JMU in formulating that program with who he brought in because of basically all he could get. Now he gets the Indiana job, which is almost Death Valley in football. And he brings those guys in. They have bought into his system. He has a knack of getting them to play together at a high level, which is the number one thing in coaching of any sport, to get your kids to play together at a high level, buying into what the system you're putting in. He has done that. Now, if you want to say because of that, he's the smartest guy in the room, no problem. But what it is his kids believe in what they're doing. When you listen to Mendoza's interviews, this kid looks like he's coming out of a 5th grade biology class. This guy's in another world. He's not like a true football dude, like, we this, me that. He puts all the glory on everybody else. And it's kind of funny to listen to his interviews, but you can tell that where they fail, they quickly come back together. They stay with what they're supposed to do. And, most coaches will tell their team, if you do what I'm putting out here for you and believe in it and keep working, it'll work. Now, again, if people want to say that makes him the smartest guy in the room, that's a great title for him, that you can do that. Those kids have bought into it and they play at a high level. The stat you put up, he has 8 4- or 5-star guys. Oregon had 55 and they demolished Oregon. And I think they will beat Miami, maybe in a little closer game, because Miami's line play, both offense and defense, is exceptional.
Yes.
I think Indiana, I put them down like 28-20 or something like that to win that game against Miami. But that's what I give Cignetti. He has done a tremendous job of almost voodooing them into play together, play at this level all the time. He does a great job when things don't go right. He's not perfect. I haven't met a coach yet that is, that they're able to come back from their mistakes, learn from their mistakes, and keep winning. That's the thing I give him credit for. And it's kind of neat to see that he brought those JMU kids, including some of our local flavor here in the state of Virginia, and they are a big reason for that success. And probably none of those guys, other than, of course, we know Mendoza and the linebacker, are going to be, draft picks for the NFL, but that doesn't matter. It just goes to show you that if you do what you're supposed to do as a unit and stay the course, you can do some amazing things on the field, on the court, wherever.
Yeah, I remember Akeem Messidor, also Ruben Bain Jr., that Miami pass rush gave problems to their first couple of foes, Texas A&M on the road, Ohio State in the College Football Playoff. They only had 1 sack of Ole Miss in their semifinal game, but they also had some guys out with some injury and some flu bug floating around. And Ole Miss's quarterback, coming from Ferris State Division II, Trinidad Chambliss, how wonderful is that guy? I don't know what kind of a pro he's going to be, because he is a little bit on the smaller side, is Chambliss, and he's not a guy that's, he isn't that small. He's actually 6'1", but he's not a guy that his style of play that you think is a natural fit for the NFL so much, but he's one incredible college quarterback. The way he moves around and can extend plays and almost brought them back. If he had a little more than 18 seconds, he might have done that in Thursday's semifinal. But I just feel like, Ed, that Indiana's just on a different level right now. They really are. And I do think the 7.5 is a lot of points, but let us know who you think wins the national championship game on January 19th. Hoosiers and Hurricanes. Will the physicality up front from Miami give Indiana's physicality some fits with the way they run the ball to complement Mendoza in the passing game? And which of the two defenses do you like better? I think the two defenses are pretty similarly matched. Miami has some skill people. Certainly Malachi Toney, who had that impressive touchdown before Carson Beck scrambled in the end zone. The better game, obviously, was the Miami-Ole Miss game compared to in terms of competitiveness and excitement to the wire than Indiana's blowout of Oregon. But Indiana's just been workmanlike, and they haven't lost a game. This is made for a movie. And speaking of which, my question to you now is, who's playing Signetti in the movie? Is it Billy Bob Thornton? Is it Dennis Quaid? Is it other? Cast your vote.
That's a good one, boy. Billy Bob Thornton would be a good one.
Looks just like him, doesn't he?
Yeah, he looks like he looks just like him. If he doesn't do anything else right, he looks just like him.
But Quaid's in so many sports movies. I think of The Rookie and stuff. I think of Quaid too. So
yeah, it would be good, and it is amazing in terms of what they're doing. But as a coach, watching, I wish I could be in those practices to see how he really manipulates and get things done where they're so good. And he's also very good at, and you have to do this in football, delegating to his coordinators and his position coaches. Yeah. And then he just orchestrates everything with there. But he is hands-on, though. He ain't sitting up in a tower somewhere and just watching. He's hands-on that, and those kids just respond so well. You know, people talk about, of course, my Raiders got the number 1 pick. Everybody says Mendoza. I don't. You cannot bring in a quarterback and you have no line play. Their line play is horrible. They need to really probably trade that pick and get some more picks, and they got to get some linemen. And I think Mendoza's tremendous character guy, just tremendous. But I'm just wondering if his game translates into the pro game in terms of what's going to be around him. Because right now he's dealing with guys that are into the system. They bought into it. They really love each other. I mean, they're really tight with each other. You don't get that in the pros. You do not get that in the pros. And sometimes these quarterbacks on a college level, even Heisman winners, there's been some Heisman winner quarterbacks. And when they went into pros, it was like, dang, he's not that good. It just didn't fit his personality, so to speak, or maybe a skill set. So I would be a little cautious on everybody saying, oh, the Raiders get Mendoza, we're going to Super Bowl. That's definitely not going to happen.
Well, I don't know if there's going to be an NFL offensive lineman taking top, but they're the O lineman from Miami. Watch out for him, Francis Mauigoa. Watch out for him. He's the guy that could, if you want to take a lineman, be one of the first one off the board. He's from IMG. He's Samoan, 6'6", 335. He's number 61 if you watch the game a week from Monday night. Keep an eye on him. He could be the guy you'd have to target, but I don't think he's going to be first. I think he'll probably be in that 4 to 12 range when the first lineman's off the board, somewhere in that range probably.
I mean, that would be a thing to look up. I don't think a lineman has been picked number 1 overall.
Oh, there has been in the history. Yes, there has. No question there has been.
The kid from
offensive lineman that Kansas City took.
Kansas City. I'm thinking Kansas City took him. And he wasn't.
Oh,
he was
gosh,
pretty decent.
He was from Central Michigan. I can see his face. Let me. I'll tell you who it is. I got to cheat and look it up because I don't remember off the top of my head. I know he played in Central Michigan.
And what about the kid from the Eagles? Is it Thomas?
Eric Fisher was the tackle. 2013.
And Lane Thomas, was he a number 1?
No, Lane Thomas. You're thinking of Joe Thomas.
That was Cleveland.
He was.
We got to look up the front line.
No, your last offensive lineman chosen first overall was Eric Fisher, 2013 by the Chiefs out of Central Michigan, 2-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champ. Jake Long is who you're thinking of, Michigan, Miami Dolphins in 2008. Okay. So it's only been in the last, and then before that, you go back to Orlando Pace, who was an anchor for that St. Louis Rams team that won a Super Bowl, Pro Football Hall of Famer, and he was a 7-time Pro Bowler, 1997. So there's only been 3 in the last 29 years here, 30-plus years.
I'm not saying the Raiders should use the number 1 pick on a lineman. I'm saying trade it.
You want to trade down and get one.
And build up with some linemen, right? Yeah. That's how I look at it.
I hate to burst your bubble, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No, the Raiders will find a way to screw it up. They'll probably draft Jamarcus Russell again.
No, they can't do that. No Jamarcus Russell.
Doesn't he have more eligibility left? I wouldn't mind seeing.
He wouldn't. They don't have that rule in the NFL. They have rules like that in college basketball now, where guys can go to the NBA and the G League and come back to college, which I know that gets you all stirred up, spurred on. Yep, that is true. So, all right, it is 757 Sports Talk and Cova Sports TV. We're going to take a timeout. We've got lots coming your way. As we mentioned, the interview with Jason Bryant, for those that missed it, that was on our social pages this week. We've got tons and tons of basketball content. I'll let Ed pick the first couple he has on the board here. We've got from last weekend at Norview High School, for those that missed it on our television portion of 757 Sports Talk, Jamari Edwards of Lake Taylor, Ricardo Foster of Norview, Oscar Smith Coach LaVar Griffin. We've got the big Suffolk rivalry game coming up on Tuesday night. Ed, Kings Fork, Nansemond River. You were part of many, many, many of those. Rick Hite of the Bulldogs, Taron Atwater of Nansemond River, and Coach Joe Hassell. We also caught up with Rick Hite's daughter, who had 33 points in a game this week, Rylie Hite. She's signed to play at East Carolina. And it was a big beach battle this past week. Damien Robinson and Chase Johnson, Landstown Eagles, and Coach Dwight Robinson, they beat Green Run. In fact, they're taking on Patriot tonight in a big showdown at the Eagles Classic. I mentioned Kings Fork. They take on Green Run over at Atlantic Shores as well. Good morning to Woody and all those that are interacting with us this particular morning. It is 757 Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. Which one we're going to hear from first when we come back from break of those 7 or 8 clips I just mentioned?
Yeah, you made so many doggone clips. I can't remember ones you talked about. One that's standing out in my mind is Landstown.
Okay.
Let's do some Landstown stuff. Kitties first, and then head coach Dwight Robinson.
Okay, so that's what we'll hear when we come back from break. You're watching with us on 757 Sports Talk. It's on Cova Sports TV. But now this from those that help make it possible. Stay tuned.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there. Because here, you are more. One Life Fitness.
Portco is your local nonprofit organization dedicated to economic empowerment through employment for people with disabilities. We focus on abilities, not limitations, providing on-the-job vocational support. Find your pathway to employment. Contact us or learn more at portco.org.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
At Rush Soccer, our love of the game and the community we create doesn't stop when we leave the pitch or when the season ends. We are more than an individual player, team, club, or league. We are a truly global community of athletes, parents, coaches, professionals, and fans. We believe that youth sports and the pathway to a lifelong love of soccer have the power to form deep, meaningful connections that will fundamentally shape our players and those in our community. We believe that what we feel is the key to what we can achieve. Feel the pride. Feel the confidence. Feel the legacy. Feel the connection. Feel the trust. Feel the acceptance. Feel the purpose. Feel the difference. Feel the rush.
All right, here with a couple of Landstown Eagles guards. We got Damien Robinson getting the hair fixed, and Chase Johnson. They beat the Green Run Stallions, defending Class 5 state champs on the road. Chase, let me start with you. First quarter, you guys get out to a pretty decent start, 5-0. You go down with a little bit of, I guess, knee injury. Tell me what was going through your mind and how you come back in.
I just wanted to help our team and help us win. I know I wasn't my best, but I'm going to be better next time. And, just coming in and getting the dub, that was all that mattered.
Sure, Dame, you knew coming in you were going to be the focal point of the defense, whoever they put on you, whether it was a bigger guard, a smaller guard. What was kind of the mindset and game plan coming in for you?
Well, so I started off a little too fast. I had to slow it down, play my pace, and then later on in the game, we started just to slow it down. On the offense, they couldn't really stay in front of us as guards, so we just got 2 feet in the paint, shot our floaters, and stay controlled.
This game has extra meaning. You're playing a beach district rival. It's 10-10 since 2008-09. They got a guy that played for you guys last year in Zay Cleveland who goes for 1,000 points. How much did y'all want to keep him, in check on the boards, if you will?
So we just really wanted to box him out because main rebounder. Our big man got in foul trouble early, so we just keyed stay on Xavier, box him out, get him out of the paint, and just keep attacking them on offense.
And for you, Chase, I think you had about 5 or 6 rebounds from the guard spot. I know Alon Walker got in foul trouble for you guys. How much knowing what Zay could do athletically did you feel like do the other things, the little things to help out both Damien and Rashad, even if it wasn't scoring the ball?
Yes, sir. I just try to make it easy on both of them because I know that they top heads, and I just want to do my best. You know what I'm saying? So rebounding, if that's the way I can impact the game, then that's how I'm going to do it.
Nothing against other beach teams, but it feels like Landstown and Green Run means more. Why does it mean more, these type of games for both of you guys?
Because it's just the best. It's just a show. So everybody want to come see a show.
Mm-hmm. Extra hype to it, Dame, for you. And I know also getting a win against Smithfield last year coming up just short, right?
Yes, this was a good rivalry, actually. We came in their place this year. We just wanted to play hard and tune out the noise. There was a lot of talk before this, so we just kept our heads level and play hard.
Sure. And last two for you guys, big game coming up, I know, on Saturday with Patriot. How much of these tests going to get you ready for the playoffs coming up in February?
So this will be a good game because if we win this game, or we just play good. So we'll also see them later in states if they start winning. So we just got to play good defense and just stop them from scoring on offense. They have great key pieces over there at Patriot.
And lastly, Chase, I'll let you go first and Dame can follow. Who wins the 2K game, you or him, when you play on the video game? Who wins the 2K?
Man, I be beating him all the time. Any game. See him be mad at he be quitting.
Oh, is that true?
Sadly. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Sadly.
Well, he's good on the court, but he's got to upset about the 2K game. Dame Robinson and Chase Johnson. Eagles win it on the road tonight. Thanks so much, guys. All right, here with Landstown head basketball coach Dwight Robinson as the Eagles move to 9-1. Check that. They moved to 10-2, rather, after beating Green Run tonight by a count of 53-44. Defending Class 5 state champs go down on the road. Coach, it's a rivalry game with you and Green Run, and now you now have the upper hand since Kenneth Harris took over 11-10 in this series. But you knew it would be a packed house, intense game. And what was the difference for you down the stretch? Because it got a little sloppy for both teams.
Yeah, we got a little timid, and we're trying to get them run our 5-out offense, and nobody's cutting. They're just standing there. And so, we weren't getting a whole lot of fouls called driving to the basket, so we wanted to try to beat them back door, and our guys just stood around and let themselves be guarded. So, on us, we look real stagnant on our end of the floor, and so we got to clean some stuff up. We're a long way from being a finished product. We're a long way from being good. And so, you want to be good in February. So that's the main thing. We want to be good in February.
Well, your defense was sound for most of the night. Was part of going to sort of use some clock to get them in foul trouble, get to the free throw line? Because you did that for a stretch in the second and third quarter, though it didn't get the whistle for you in the fourth.
Yeah. We were the aggressor getting to the basket, and it just didn't show up. We were going to keep doing it. We didn't feel like they could stay, play us man-to-man and stay in front of us. Particularly Dame was getting by his guy, on a regular. Shad was getting by his guy on a regular. And so, we just got to keep working at it. We got to get a little bit more under control when we get in the paint and really concentrate on the finishes and get our bigs to slide.
Yeah.
We got a lot of work to do. Like I said, we're a long way from being good right now. But defensively, I thought we were pretty solid. We communicated pretty well. My bigs were in foul trouble the whole game. And so we actually were playing, Dane was playing a 5 for us, guarding Xavier. So, for the adversity that we had to go through, I think it's a really good win.
Type of wins will help you for the playoff run here. I also thought with Alon getting in foul trouble, your big man Walker, you got contributions from Rashad Shaw in the steal category, like 4 tonight. Also drew a charge, and Chase Johnson, for you, who had an injury early in the game, came back, got you some key rebounds when Greenville was trying to make a run. How much was that also valuable? Even though you didn't have the points tonight, the shooting percentages were a little funky for both teams.
Yeah, really important. One of the things we said today is our guards have to rebound the ball. Our guards have to rebound the ball. If our guards rebound the ball, we can get in transition. And so that's one of the keys. We felt like they were going to have to take some jump shots. And once they did, we knew we had to rebound the ball in order for us to really have an advantage.
2 more for you. Xavier Cleveland was a standout for you guys for 3 years, now playing for Green Run. He's going to Virginia Tech for football. had some pretty good numbers, but I think your guys took some pride in saying, all right, we're not going to let him beat us tonight, knowing how much we've progressed from last year to now, and a couple of those guys being freshmen like Damien and Rashad for you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Zaydon was a staple for us for 3 years, started since he was a freshman. Knew he was going to break 1,000 points this year. He was at, I think, 890 something when he left us.
Got it tonight in the first quarter, yeah.
Yeah, in the first quarter, he breaks 1,000. I'm proud of him. He's still my guy. But one thing, we know how he plays. We know what he does. And we knew he was going to try to play really well against us. And so I thought our guys did a good job of crowding him, not letting him turn and get driving lanes all day. Because when he does that, he's really hard to handle.
Yeah, had good numbers for 3 quarters, but pretty solid in the fourth. And like I said, the shooting percentages were down for both sides from the field. Free throw line was ugly for both teams. But lastly, to get kind of a gritty win on the road, you got Patriot coming up Saturday in your Eagle Classic. What are you seeing from the team? Because you've been battle tested with your schedule, which is always the norm at Landstown.
Yeah, we started, the week before we went Christmas week. We had Nansemond River, which was a really gritty game, kind of like this one right here. And then we went down to Charlotte, 2 really good teams. We didn't show up at all for one of the games, but the second game, I thought we bounced back, played pretty well against that team with some high caliber players. And we saw a lot of size down there that they really gave us some problems inside in terms of us finishing at the rim. So we've been working on some things for later. But that's it. You want to be battle tested to figure out what are you not good at? What do you need to work on? How do you improve? And so that's what's important to us. The win is great, but in all honesty, a win or a loss wouldn't matter to me. It was really about what are we going to learn from this and how are we going to get better? And so, again, I'm worried about being good at the end of February. It's nice to get wins. And, obviously you go out and play to get wins, but we want to learn some things, too, so we can get better and, be ready for late February, early March.
Well, good test tonight and a hard-fought win. Thank you so much. All the best.
Yep, thank you.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
So you heard from Dwight Robinson of the Landstown Eagles. They beat Green Run 53-44 this week, as well as a couple of the guards, his son Damien Robinson, sizzling sophomore, and Chase Johnson. It is 757 Sports Talk and Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. We've got our top 10s from this past week that we're on VirginiaPreps.com. The latest installment back on Monday, January the 5th. New installment coming up on Monday, January the 12th for classes 6, 5, and 4. We'll have 3, 2, and 1 blast off, probably scrolling across the ticker later on in the show. But those are the records going into this weekend. We'll start with Class 6. We'll focus on Class 5 and 4 a little bit later. 4 is now your division. It used to be 5. And obviously that big rivalry game we'll touch on with Kings Fork and Nansemond River a bit later on in the program. But you see Westfield's at the top, who beat Patriot on Monday. Tonight, though, Landstown hosting Patriot. Again, these records were going into Monday, so people saying, oh, no, the Patriots lost the game, so has Garfield. Yeah, Garfield lost in overtime to Forest Park this week. LC Bird beats Monacan. They're still unblemished. So is Oscar Smith. You'll hear from LaVar Griffin coming up in a few seconds as they got a big win last Saturday at Norview High School over Catholic. Yorktown, George Marshall, Forest Park, Lake Braddock. I know you will say, all right, I'm changing the rankings, Matt. You got to move Forest Park ahead of Garfield. We understand it because they won head-to-head, but it really feels like when it's all said and done, push comes to shove, those 3 there on your screen are the 3 it's going to matter most that have the best chance to win a championship. Westfield, Landstown, Patriot. You concur, or do you say somebody else below that can upset the apple cart, be it in the 4 through 10 range, that you say, hold on now? And by the way, C.G. Woodson, your buddy Doug Craig, got himself a triple overtime win over Lake Braddock on Friday night. Remember, they beat Oscar Smith on the road in the state semifinals last year. You saw that while I was getting off a plane or flying back from Pensacola. And Woodson would probably be even up there in that top 4 if they still had that terrific point guard, Kalen Chilton, who ended up transferring out.
Yeah, with him in there, they probably don't have 3 losses, and they'd be in the mix, but it's what they have. I'm
still a good team, by the way, led by Ryan Corallo for Doug Craig, but go ahead, yes.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with those top teams. I think Garfield, even though they got the first loss, will make that comeback. 6 is a battle. Oscar Smith, I saw him play the other day. They're not, to me, not the Smith I'm used to seeing. Very athletic, big, whatever. Right. But they're still 5-0. They seem to be playing tighter together. really, really good guard play. Could be one of those teams you don't really think about until it's that time, and then you say, wow, where have they been all year?
Well, how about that region, though, that we mentioned with Landstown? You'll hear from Coach Griffin in a second, so you can follow up on that. I don't want you to spoil everything you saw from them. But in addition to that, the 1 seed's going to matter, right? Because then the other two have to play each other in region semis. And I don't want to even leave out Western Branch, who got themselves a monster win over Lakeland by a wide margin on Friday night, lost to Granby earlier in the week. But it feels like those three of Landstown, Smith, LC, Bird, however you want to order them or rank them. And right now, Smith and Bird chasing the 1 seed with no blemishes. Landstown's got 2. They're to lose this game coming up to Patriot. And they got Petersburg next week, by the way, on the road. Huge game in the Lawson Classic. But what it says to me is if you can avoid that team until the finals, you get to states. So that's a big deal. And I think that 1 seed is going to matter a little bit for somebody trying to get their state ticket punched, because there could be a really good team left home from states in Class 6 Region A.
Yeah, you hit right on the head that the matchups is going to be key, because you're going to have teams, again, as we do this every year, we'll say more of it later, you're going to have a team that doesn't even go, that we're going to feel that if they were in the field, they would be a factor. But the idea that they only send in 2, you got to get to be one of those 2 to get over there. But I think 6 is going to be very interesting in terms, Landstown, the young backcourt that now really doesn't seem like a young backcourt. It seems like they've been there 3-4 years, and they've been through some big games, and they play excited basketball. And, Dwight's always going to have them playing defense tough. And they're a team that when somebody's down, there's somebody who always steps up and does something. So they'll be right there in that mix too.
Yeah, they will be. We've been asking you all morning long. Tell us who wins the national championship game coming up on Monday, January 19th, between the Hoosiers and the Hurricanes. Jerry Eccles weighing in, says Indiana. Give us a score or 2 if you're out there, Jerry, or anybody else on our Cova Sports TV YouTube channel or IG, Facebook, the Twitter, the X, wherever you're tuning into the show. We teased it before we go back to break again. Oscar Smith, they won the region championship last year, but they know they have the work cut out for them because of Landstown and LC Bird in their region. But we did catch up with LaVar Griffin last weekend at the Virginia Hoop Fest at Norview High School. They won a nail-biter over Catholic, 68-67. Here's that conversation now on Cova Sports TV.
All right, I'm here with Oscar Smith, head basketball coach LaVar Griffin. As Tigers win a nail-biter, 68-67 over the Catholic Crusaders in the Virginia Hoop Fest at Norview High School in Norfolk. Coach, you're 5-0 in the season. I'm not sure if this is a question or a statement, but I think we saw the young basketball team, the coming of age for them, the good, the bad, the ugly, but you held on and got it done.
Man, we just got to get back to practice on in the game stuff, but they kept fighting, and and I just told them to relax and just play, and we kind of got a little rattle at the end, but that's, like you said, that's the young that came out, guys just trying to figure it out still, and like I said, we found a way to win.
But this is a very different basketball team than the last one for you a year ago that won a region championship and got to the state Final Four. Yet it's a talented one, and I think we're seeing some signs. This was their first close test. I know you played Indian River, you played Missouri Holiday Classic, but it was good to have a battle against another really quality opponent.
Absolutely. Catholic, good team, and we knew what we was going up against when we came in, and like I told the guys, I said, this is going to be a great test for us, just by us, doing what we did to be 4-0, but like I said, this was a great game for us to get ready for January. We're about to be playing these back-to-back games, and we got some tough opponents we're about to go against. So I think this was good for us, just the confidence, giving them the confidence and being able to finish a game like this.
Yeah, Southeast District's no picnic with the likes of Kings Fork and Nansemond. The list goes on. You guys love the league. Let's chat about some of your personnel. The youngster really stood up from today, the MVP of the game. We saw him a couple of years ago as a sophomore reserve, earned Virginia Wesleyan team MVP. Kason Fitch, I hear his work ethic is undeniable. And today, 23 points for his 7 rebounds. He really willed you at times, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's been in the program, and he knows what it takes to win. And he's just a different guy now. And like I said, he's a hard worker. Like you said, he's gotten bigger, he's gotten stronger, he's moving different, and his shot has gotten pretty. So Casey, he's the leader of the guys. They follow him. He's a great example to the guys on his work that he do. And like I said, he deserved this. He deserved it.
Kelly Kingford, another newcomer, 19 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, some pretty impressive numbers. I saw you coach him throughout the game because he's going to make some mistakes, but he makes effort mistakes, doesn't he?
Absolutely. It's new to him. You know, being in an environment like this and being a part of the program that we have. And it's new to him. But like I told him at the beginning of the game, I said, have fun. And he did a good job for us too.
Well, we know about Oscar Smith, going back to when you've had Des Devane and Nigel Barrio and Donald Hicks and all these other guys, is you have shooters and you have guards. And you had that this year with Kelly and Corin Buckingham and Fitch and guys that can, and oh, by the way, Quality Price coming off the football field. He's another athletic player for you at the guard spot, huh?
Yes, he helps a lot. It's always been guards for me. And we don't always prepare them and get them ready for moments like this and get them ready. So we did a good job.
Sure, 2 more extra on here. Number one for them, Carter Bullock, has 29 points today. He got to the foul line 15 times, 11 in the first half. Did you know much about him coming in, and what was sort of the game plan to try to keep him at bay? Because he was starting to dominate at times for them.
Absolutely. We knew, like I said, we knew who he was going up against it. And like him fouling, him getting to the line, we were fouling too much. And I told the guys, I said, we got to stop fouling because we're keeping them in the game. So we made an adjustment at halftime, even though them guys still was able to get to the basketball, and that's something we're going to just have to work on in practice.
Last thing, thank you for your time. We were talking before the game about, Region 6A with Landstown and Elsinburg and you guys in interview. Nice to get that 1 seed to get maybe the home court, if you will, for the playoff. But what's the ceiling for this group? Because the expectations at Oscar Smith are always to win and compete for championships, whether it's basketball, your football team, just won a state championship, and that's the goal, isn't it?
Absolutely. Of course, it's always going to be the goal. Our expectations are very high here, and we're just taking it day by day, Matt, and we're just going to keep grinding every day, and we're going to take it game by game. We prepare for each game. So we're just going to slow ourselves down a little bit, get ourselves back in the lab, and fix the things that we need to fix to go for the next game.
Well, as they continue to prepare and progress, they keep the goose egg in the lost column and get another W. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you.
So you heard from LaVar Griffin there of the Oscar Smith Tigers. It is Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. They're in the Atlantic Shores event that is today, the MABC Showcase. I'll put up those for those that wonder about the matchups in those tournaments real quickly, because I know you'll be asking me throughout the day. There's the Landstown Classic. You got Kellum taking on Henry Wise of Maryland, Lake Taylor First Flight of North Carolina, and Landstown Patriot at 6:30. And then the MABC, you have, there it is, JV game, the Norcom Menchville, Leon Goolsby versus Lamont Struthers, Peninsula Catholic versus Cape Henry, Maury, Oscar Smith, Hampton, Princess Anne, and Kings Fork Green Run to cap things off on the night. And again, you'll hear from Coach Hite, Coach Hassell, some more teams and players coming up in a bit here. But a lot of excitement. I'll put your feet to the fire right here and now. Who's the best team you've seen live? Now, that can exclude people you haven't seen, but who's the best team you've seen live? Make somebody mad out there by saying it's not their team, which you may or may not have seen yet. And by the way, for girls, easy answer. Princess Anne's still the queen.
Yeah, PA girls got that. It might be the best team, boys and girls.
Obviously, I had a women's game, so I couldn't be in person to see them play Catholic, which I saw on the highlights and then also on the NFHS feed. I was able to pop it up when they played Catholic. Was that Wednesday night? Whatever night it was. I don't know. All my days are mixed up, as you know, when I'm in the middle of broadcasting. But Catholic put a little push at them, but they just overwhelmed them with Micah Ojo. And then not just Micah Ojo, Tristan Rickenbacher, I told you, would be the best player on most other teams, and Giselle James very good as well. And then Kellum made a run and put up a lot of points on him, but PA then hit him with a couple of punches back. And Kellum and Catholic are good girls teams, but PA just makes it look effortless. You haven't seen them live, obviously. I saw a snippet of them live last month. I think it was against Green Run. I haven't seen them live outside of that. I've seen them on film, of course. But who's the best boys team you've seen live?
I'm going to put a nod to Hampton.
Would you?
It's only by a slither, because Green Run, Landstown, Smith, like I say, Smith does it, not one of those wow teams that they've had in the past, but they find, Calgary's a pretty good team too. And they had Smith down by double digits, and all of a sudden the second half is a whole nother game.
No, I think it was about 7, close to double digits, but you're on point though. Yeah.
So, but I'm going to say Hampton, they've got size, speed. They can score buckets, 4 or 5 different spots on the floor. And they're still a work. Well, everybody's a work in progress, but Hampton definitely is. They got a late start with their football guys, and a couple of those guys, first time they were playing football, so they had to get used to off the football field on basketball court. And we saw them beat Woodside in a back and forth tussle, and they won that in overtime. And I think their margin of getting better is bigger than most.
Right.
that they're going to be even better as they get through there. And they have a lot of the components you look for, and they seem to play well under pressure, which is the big thing. And this is a key factor. You heard Dwight of going to Charlotte. Some of these teams, I know Nansemond River went to Wilmington, North Carolina. Some of these teams get away.
Kings Fork went to Florida, which you'll hear in a bit. Yep.
Kings Fork. And what it is, it puts them in situations where they got to deal with some adversity, some pressure, different style of teams, whatever. And that's going to be big for teams that are going to be in fighting for those regional championships and the opportunity to go into states. That's what separates the really, really good teams from good teams, that they're able to handle that pressure under adversity.
I have no problem with that pick of Hampton whatsoever. I don't have them currently in my latest Virginia Preps top 10 in Class 4 at the top. I have them 4th, as we'll put it back on the screen here now, behind EC Glass. And now, by the way, Denby, second no blemish this week. It was a big game on Tuesday. Besides Landstown Green Run, it was Woodside. Denby and Woodside beat Denby for, I want to say it was the 16th consecutive time. So hats off to Stephon Welsh and his Wolverines, beating a former player. By the way, odd that the players that left, their teams actually won. Cleveland's Eagles, I say formerly of the Eagles, beat the Stallions, where he's now a member of, goes over 1,000 points. Xavier, Cleveland, and Virginia Tech football signee, and Callan Morrison, who I joke looks just like Jamal Murray from the Denver Nuggets. He left Woodside, goes to Denby, and they suffered our first blemish against Woodside. But Hampton's bracket in 4 there, as you see, Heritage Leesburg, which beat Tuscarora Friday night, Monacan, Hanley despite Will Bronwyn's injury, Broad Run with Ryan Brzezinski, Mount St. Mary signing in the front court. A lot of contenders there in 4. But I will tell you, I think Landstown's played the best defense. Hampton could have the best mix. But when we come back from break, we're going to hear from a coach that I think has the best offense we've seen live. And I know you shortchanged them, and you'll apologize about it when we come back. It's a place you used to coach at here on Cova Sports TV. It is 757 Sports Talk. He's got the finger up. He's like, oh, yeah, I forgot about them. He'll make up for it in the next segment here.
No, they're right there. They're right there.
We'll talk about it when you hear from their coach. I want you to talk about it.
And Denby, don't get mad at me. I haven't seen you play yet, Coach Grimes. I haven't seen you play. That's why I didn't put you up there.
All right. And you only saw about a half of Landstown Nansemond, and you got there at halftime, I think, or third quarter. So you didn't see the full game.
Yes, right.
All right. We've got more coming your way. Stay tuned. Like, share, and subscribe, and always interact with us here on Cova Sports TV. You'll hear from Town Bank and others when we come back.
Did you know that the minimum limits in Virginia are $30,000? $30,000 is a lot of money on an individual basis. But if you're involved in a personal injury matter, that's not enough. Here at Williams-Lloyd, we're happy to provide a consultation on the amount of coverage you have in your vehicle. It can be confusing. Not many people understand it. You know you need to have it, but do you have enough? Give us a call today at 757-547-5555 so we can help you prepare in the case of an automobile accident or any other personal injury matter that you or your family may find yourself in.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why there's CHKD Sports Medicine. Advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries, just for young athletes like yours.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger, fries, drink, and a sundae. No time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. Right now at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship. And that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us. And the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
Okay, I'm here with Norview Basketball Coach Ricardo Foster. His Pilots win at 90-15 over Princeton. A dominant fashion, Coach. Running clock margin tonight. 34-point first quarter. Jamari Mitchell hits 4 threes, 16 points. Ian Keon Fats Mitchell. You've been a part of some pretty neat shooting performances in this gym too, and state tournament runs. But this was on a different level tonight in the first quarter, wasn't it?
Yeah, them guys came out. They came ready to play. They was prepared. They prepared themselves, and they were I honestly think they kind of built themselves up a little too much for the game. But I'll take it.
But you have to be pleased in a showcase in your gymnasium to have the crowd come out and kind of feed off the energy from your fans, right?
Chill out. Nah, it was a great, man. The whole day was great atmosphere from the first game to the last. Man, I'm just proud to be a part of this program, proud to be a part of this team, man. Keon Mitchell, he's doing this thing, he's doing pretty good. Jamari Mitchell, those guys playing, they shot that ball pretty well. They playing some defense, they staying disciplined. I love it.
Let me ask you about Keon Fats Mitchell. You've had his kid since he was an 8th grader going to 9th grade. 4-year starter, all-state kid. He's got some interest for the next level, no doubt about it. But the thing that impresses me, Coach, is his passing. He has 36 points tonight. Even go back to the Iverson Showcase. He had 36 points.
Oh.
But the other day in the Iverson Showcase, he almost had a double-double with assists. Tonight he had 6 assists. He makes a lot of really good passes and makes his teammates better, doesn't he?
He makes his teammates a lot better. And whoever get him at the next level, man, it's going to be a blessing for them. The way you see the floor, I honestly think sometimes he passes a little too much at this level. But man, he great floor vision, man. He can see the floor from a mile away. He executes. So whoever get him, man, they're gonna get a gem.
You've seen Division I players come to this program. The names of Kendricks Brown and Chris McEachin on your staff, and Malcolm Hawkins, a list of players. But what's the best part of his game? Because we know he's been a natural scorer since his freshman year. What do you like most about him as a basketball player?
His actual feel for the game. When I look at Keon, he reminds me of the John Hines, the Jaylani Gardens, the Malcolm Hawkins, the Ken Browns, the Keontae Johnson. He reminds me of all those guys who came through the program, cool, calm, collective, and just a straight assassin on the floor.
We'll go to defenders for a second. We got both Zamarian and Keon shooting free throws after a win by 31 points.
He out there missing free throws. He's still missing free throws.
But he's working on it, though, right?
Yeah. We gotta get him right, though, man. We gotta get him right.
Two more for you. This team is still building its 3 through 9 or 10, whatever you would call it, rotation players. How much is that going to be a key to your success, Eastern District, regionally, and perhaps beyond?
Everybody got to be ready to play. From the first man to the 12th man on the bench. I believe we can go 12 deep, but I don't want to mess up the floor of the top guys, so I try to keep that rotation at 7 or 8, but if I need to go 9 or 10, I can.
Lastly, you have a culture here at Norview of an expectation to win and compete, and Class 5 is very deep. What are the things you're going to harp on with your group as you get towards district play here and the regionals on the horizon? What are the things you're going to be emphasizing with your team?
Stay disciplined. Stay focused. It's a long road down that road to Broad Street to make it to Richmond. And, you just got to have the perfect timing. Shots got to be falling and a whole lot of luck. So hopefully we'll have all those things throughout the season.
Well, tonight they were clicking and they're fun to watch. Norview Pilots, Coach Foster, thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Back with you here on 757 Sports Talk. So you heard from Ricardo Foster. His Pilots had a 34-point outburst in the first quarter against Princess Anne, who's not too shabby yet. I think PA is now 10-2 as they take on Hampton tonight in that event at Shores. But my gracious, offensively, I haven't seen a quarter from a team like that. They were in NBA jam mode and couldn't miss. They could have took on the Lakers and the Knicks that night.
Yeah, that was amazing display on offense. You're right. They couldn't miss pretty much any shot they took. They couldn't miss it. It's almost like they told you what they were going to do, and they still did it. And you're right. PA is not a slop team. They're going to be in the mix too. Not quite as experienced, I think, as what Norview has, quite as quick as what Norview has. But Keon Mitchell did put on a just a shooting display. And again, he was in that zone. He wasn't going to be stopped. And, it is decent. Our game, we played Jamestown Wednesday, and I was talking to my assistant coaches about Norview, Keon Mitchell, their big start. We go out, it was doing warm-ups. We go out, we open up the quarter think it was 28-6. We won the first quarter. And then when I looked at the stats later, in the first quarter, we made 12 of 14 shots from the field in the first quarter, created 7 turnovers, scored on 4 of them. And it was the best quarter of a team I've coached in a long while. Like, everything was done right from the defensive end to the offensive end. And then I said, man, I just saw this with Norview, just did this where they put up in the 30s, that it can be done. But again, things just really got to be clicking.
So our Lady Monarchs that I broadcast games for at Marshall the other day, 11 of 12 out of the gates in the first quarter, and got an 11-point lead in the third quarter, and things went a little haywire. Game gets tied to end the third. India Buford hits a shot that's countered. Initially, it's a 2, changed to a 3. You think you're in good shape in the fourth, and the wheels fall off with turnovers, get outscored by, I think it was 10 or something in the fourth. But that happens as a coach, though. So take me through the mindset. Is that the concern for Coach Foster? He knows how well they shoot the ball. And by the way, real quickly, so they played Booker T, who's struggling right now a lot, as we well know. Friday night, win that game 84-37. No Keon Mitchell. They score 84 points because Zamarion gives them 19 points and 5 steals, and 18 points and 6 boards from Carlton Gregory, who we didn't even hear his name the other night. Jalen Freeman, 15 points, 6 assists. So they have other guys that can score the ball, even if Fats Mitchell, Keon Mitchell, is not there. But is that the concern? Is that they are, I wouldn't say so predicated on hitting shots. They hit shots, they can be anybody in the world. If they're not hitting shots, keeping the composure, not to let other parts of the game slippage, if you will. Is that what the concern is, the coach?
Teams of that nature, what happens is they get so used to wanting to score because they feel they can do it. And it's really crazy when they all think they can do it, because normally it's not everybody. As you heard Coach Foster say about, he feels, well, if we had to, we can go 12 deep, but doesn't want to mess up the rotation of the top half, which is usually about 7, maybe 8 guys. Because it's rare all 12 guys are about the same, unless you're a really bad team and they're all about the same. But that's what you have to be careful of. And, like I would tell our guys that if we're flubbing up on offense, it's not dropping. You got to turn your defense up more. That's where you have to be able to say, we can dominate on the defensive end, stop them from scoring, and then get yourself easy buckets, because there's different ways you can score. You can score in transition, off a made shot or rebound. You can score in key defensive situations where off of turnovers, or you can execute great in the half court. And most teams, especially on a high school level, do not execute great in the half court. Again, I don't always want to keep talking about my team, but last night we struck. Gloucester's a young team. I think it started 2 or 3 freshmen. We couldn't get rid of them. We're up 12, we're up 4, we're up 14, we're up 6. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. It's a nightmare. We're just much more talented than them are, but it just wasn't working. All of a sudden, I had mentioned in a timeout about turning our defense up to shake them off. And something I didn't realize until my assistants told me after the game, because I guess there's a lot of things in the game I don't see. We went from the last 2 minutes of the third quarter and the entire fourth quarter, that's 10 minutes. Gloucester didn't score a bucket and didn't get a rebound in 10 minutes, last 10 minutes of the game. We went on a 30-0 run to end the game. And you couldn't have paid me to say that, because I kept looking at the clock thinking we were up 6, 7.
Well, that's why when I scanned it, when I got a chance to get on the computer, I got a chance to scan it. And I'm looking at you. You kept pacing, hands in the pockets, mean face. But I don't know who the kid is. You have to tell me. I didn't watch the whole game play by play. I got other things I'm doing. But you had a kid score at the end of the game, and your whole bench went bananas when he scored. Was that like the last guy on your bench that hadn't played?
Yeah, we had a youngster in there, Colin Blood. Colin he's rare. He's not, and I don't want to kill him on national podcasts.
No. Be nice.
Colin he's a junior. It's the first time he's ever played any sports. He came out with us from day one. This kid has not missed a workout in September all the way to now. He did miss. He was late for one practice, and he apologized 46 times.
Wow.
And I told him, Colin, it's okay. You do your late practice work, and you're okay. He has not played. He's not overly talented. It's yes, sir. No, sir. What do you need me to do, sir? Sir, can I get shots up? And I'm like, you don't have to keep calling me sir. Okay. I feel like I'm in England or something.
He seems like he's the most liked kid on your team, though, because your bench went crazy when he scored.
Yeah, they know that he's not overly talented. If you see him, most people would say, how do you keep that kid? Is that your son or something? Why'd you keep? He's the type of kid you want around. He's trying. He's working. He's getting knocked down in practice. He doesn't play a lot. He went like 4 games in a row. He didn't play at all. And then the last couple games, we were able to get him in. And he got in last night. He goes in for a breakaway layup, mistimed his steps, threw it up left-handed. And I swear to you, the ball went straight up the backboard. And Jesus, where it came out of the sky, grabbed the ball, moved it over, and put it in the bucket. It went straight up. I thought it was going to go over the backboard. And it hit the rim and went through. And the kids went berserk. I just turned around.
His work ethic is contagious because they see that, and that makes your team better, doesn't it? Even if he doesn't have as much talent as other guys, that doesn't help.
But they know he works. They see him in practice. They know he works. And he's not full of himself like sometimes players are, especially if they're playing AAU and they feel, I'm dropping 25 on AAU and this and that. He's not. He's pure. He's absolutely pure. He's the mark of your coaching. In other words, what you're teaching a kid, he would be the prime example of he's never been anything. He's never been coached. So everything you see is what he's picking up from you. So you can, okay, am I getting through to these kids? And he has improved greatly. It's just that he's not played much at all. I'm talking anywhere. And when he made that bucket, it felt so good because the kids have been trying to get him the ball. When he's in there, everybody's throwing the ball. He might be covered by 6 people. We're still trying to throw him the ball. And, he's working, he's moving, he's trying to get it. And he missed a couple jump shots against Jamestown. He was wide open. And lately his shot has come around. He's putting some time in. And I thought he was going to drop a couple threes, and the crowd would have went nuts had he done that at home. And I'm anxious, all my kids get at least one start during the season. I find a game that this kid can start, it fits him, no matter who it is. And I've done that, I swear to God, my whole career. And I think maybe 4 times I screwed it up. 4 kids didn't start in my whole career. And you're talking 30-some years. And he's going to get a start this year. I have an idea when it'll be. And I'm anxious to see him in that game, how he's going to do. And I'm going to try to do it at home because, he's kind of like the favorite at home, too, with the crowd, especially with the students. So it's just a good feel. It's a good feel type situation. He's not just out there for the heck of it. I mean, he has a role, and I do get on him. But he's one of those kids, when I'm getting on him hard, I'm thinking to myself, oh, my God, why are you yelling at this kid? He's trying his best. But that was that moment. But when I told everybody that Jesus came out of the skies and moved the ball over, the kids went nuts in the locker room. So it was a good feeling.
It's great. Well, Ed, we've heard from one Norfolk team. Big matchup coming up on Friday the 16th. We're going to preview the Suffolk matchup. Kings Fork, Nansemond River, but the 16th, it's Norview against one of the 2 unbeatens in Hampton Roads. You heard from Oscar Smith earlier. They're not playing Oscar Smith. Norview's playing another team in their city from the Eastern District. You know who that is?
No question. The Titans.
What are you doing over there? What is that?
Is it the Titan logo? You ever see the logo of the Titans?
I think you're right. Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I know my Titan logo, man.
We heard from not Coach Derek Yogi Edwards, who we've heard from before, and we'll hear from again, but we heard from, I think it's his nephew, Jamari Edwards, after their comeback win at the Virginia Hoop Fest against the Kellum Knights last weekend at Norview High School. Here's that conversation now on Cova Sports TV.
Okay, here with Lake Taylor senior guard Jamari Edwards, 24 points, a new season high, 2 off his career best as they defeat Kellum coming from behind today, 62-46. In the Norview VA Hoop Fest. All right, Jamari, you guys stay undefeated 9-0 on the season. You guys are down 15. I think it was 12 at the half. What was said in the locker room to get that energy started for you all?
I basically told the guys, I'm like, can't lose this, and we got to come out and play defense. I don't think we were playing good defense in the first half. So I think the second half, we turned up on our defense, our energy, and that's what made us get the win.
Kellum's a different type of team to prepare for. They're fundamentally sound. They're half court. They slow it down a little bit. You're used to going up and down in the Eastern District.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you could speed them up in the second half? Was that a big key?
Yeah, I think we did a better job speeding them up. They run a lot of off-ball things, so practice, we kind of talked about that, and we kind of worked on that, and I think we did a good job overall. So.
Now, last time Lake Taylor played, at least I was at a showcase, I talked with a couple of your teammates, and Shaquante, Junior Evans, Jakar Jones, you didn't play. How much were you excited? Bigger crowd, games are getting bigger now. You guys were down. You feel like I got to take charge in the third quarter myself, and you got hot in the third quarter shooting the ball.
Yeah, so I'm the senior guard, so, I just kind of coach always tell me the team goes as me and Kari go. We both seniors, so, as a senior, you got to take lead, and the team will follow you.
You were a part of the Lake Taylor team a couple years ago. You got to the state finals.
Yeah.
Had the heartbreak coming up this short. Now that it's your last hurrah, how much do you want to change that feeling and have a memorable finish and get to the Seal Center and get the championship?
You just gave me shivers talking about it, and I really want to get back to the state championship. I told myself if I get back, I'm not losing. So that's how I'm coming this season.
Now, I believe you have aspirations to play college ball somewhere. Yeah. Tell us why a college should recruit you and what you think the best traits are in your game today. It looks like you can shoot from three with the best of them.
Yeah, so I got a couple colleges looking at me. Hopefully I'll make my decision soon, maybe after the season. So I'm still looking. And I think my best asset is just I think I'm a winner. So I think I can do whatever the team needs for me to win. I'm gonna do what the team needs for me to win. So I think that's my biggest asset.
Sure, a couple more for later on. Offense got you going in the third quarter. How about the defense in the fourth quarter? Was the message just lock up, don't let 14? Trey Barnhart is a good player. Beat us.
Yeah, I don't think our defense was necessarily tailored toward him because the first half, a lot of their players were getting off, and we know Trey, their best player. I don't think he was getting off that much in the first half, but so I think we just had to lock in defensively everybody, all five of the guys, because a lot of their other players were getting off too. So
sure. All right, last two fun ones here. Lake Taylor, I know you're going to win a championship this year, but you watch pros in college. Who are the players you study and try to emulate, or you got a favorite player in the league or in college too?
King Giles from Oscar Smith. I watch him a lot. He's tough. I also like Kentucky, so I've been watching a lot of Kentucky. We're not that good this season, but hopefully we get it soon. So, yeah.
All right. I know Coach Edwards is family, but it's just us talking. It's a secret. Who does the best imitation of Coach on the team? Anybody? Who's the best imitation of Coach? Is it you? Is it somebody else? Probably you.
Probably Jakari or me.
Okay, one of you two. All right, well, the Titans stay unbeaten and they're champs in the championship in Class 3. Jamari, congratulations on MVP, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
So there you heard it from Jamari Edwards, who put on a show second half of that game against Kellum at the VA Hoop Fest. Ed, they're in action today, as we showed you earlier, against First Flight, I think it was. First Flight, as you see. Yep, 5 o'clock. Kellum plays Henry Wise, and Landstown and Patriot is the finale there. But your thoughts? Lake Taylor's another team we haven't touched on, and they're in Class 3 to go to our Virginia Preps rankings. People got a little upset about this, I should say. Lake Taylor 1 going into the week, Western Admiral 2, Petersburg 3, then it's Cave Spring, New Kent, a team you've seen, Meridian, Wilson Memorial, Hidden Valley, which took it on the chin Friday night against Patrick Henry Roanoke, Allegheny, Turner, Ashby. No disrespect to teams 7 through 10. I don't see you being there at the end. I think this is going to – the cutoff is where Jim Smith's Meridian team is, and they've been a state team before. He's a veteran coach. Lake Taylor, Petersburg, the fascinating part of that is if Lake Taylor can keep that goose egg, the longer they can – and Petersburg gets a 5th loss, which I don't think is going to happen, but they stay ahead in the win-loss record. They can possibly host Petersburg in a region semi or final. Who would have thought that? Now, there'll be a lot of Petersburg people in the building, and Petersburg will be expected to roll. Lake Taylor, though, they got to play the game, and they're not intimidated, I don't think. So,
now, you asked me about picking the best I've seen. Hampton's up there. Lake Taylor's on my mind, too. Lake Taylor – in that game against Kellum, again, tale of two halves. The first half, it was all Kellum.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Lake Taylor, what are you doing? Second half, they just flipped the switch and scoring from all positions in different ways with that defense. And there is a built-in toughness with Lake Taylor that's going to keep them involved in every game. That's going to be a definite. And you're right, no intimidation. I caution people who don't know much about high school basketball. Petersburg's 4 losses, those were to national level teams. Now let's be safe on this. And I still believe when it's all said and done, Petersburg will be in the championship game. The question is who they're going to play. Right now, in my mind, I hope it's Petersburg and Lake Taylor, and things keep going the way it is. Not disrespecting any other teams.
Hold on. Are you talking for the state championship?
State. I don't want to hear it for regional championship or
okay. Well, Can I interject just for a second while you get on your little soapbox here? I know.
Let me have to go off now.
Well, I know how you are. The way the state bracket is constructed for 3, just like it is for 5, and I think just like it is for just about every division this year, thankfully, they cross bracket to where you can have 2 teams from the same region get to the final. That wasn't always the case. So you could, if they stay on opposite sides of the bracket, that could be your state championship at VCU. Remember, people thought before the Hopewell lost players, and by the way, Petersburg dubbed Hopewell by 30, as I like to say. It's smoked them on Friday night. But they thought that would be your epic matchup in the state championship. 2 teams from the same district with so much history, rivalry, and they've never met before in a state championship. That would be we've seen them actually meet at the Scope in a region semifinal. But Lake Taylor and Petersburg could meet if they stay on opposite sides of the region bracket. But if they meet in the region semis, and I showed up there, New Kent, who's from your district, who won an overtime game with Grafton, by the way, that could be the thorn in the side to where they might have to see each other in the region semis. I don't think that will happen, but it technically could happen. There you go.
New Kent, correct me if I'm wrong, New Kent's only loss is to Albemarle or Western Albemarle?
Albemarle, correct, at home.
Okay.
Lynn Burke chiming in. Ed's team is on a roll. He's like butter, Lynn. He's on a roll.
Yeah, we're just not the level of the teams we're talking about, not even close. But it's good that.
But you could play one of them come playoff time. You could see a Denby or a Hampton in 4. You never know.
Well, that's right now. I got to worry about Jeremy Jordan's Poquoson Bull Islanders on Tuesday.
Who just beat Bruton in overtime, by the way.
And New Kent. And they killed us. I think we lost by 23 or something. Extreme pressure.
Yeah,
that's their mark. Tremendous full court pressure team. And when I look at what they do best compared to what Petersburg and Lake Taylor do, and I don't want to discourage or disparage what Coach Ross has done at New Kent. That's not the same level. Petersburg will throw over that press. Lake Taylor has the quickness and the handlers to get through it.
It's a little bit like on a smaller scale what Brian Metris, who's a great coach at Lake Braddock, did in the state championships. We didn't argue on the air, but we debated it when they played Landstown. They're almost Grinnell, up, go, shoot threes. That works to get you there. But then when you run into a Landstown who defends, it doesn't always, like you said. New kids, what they do is great for them, but when they get there, is that going to mesh against Lake Taylor or Petersburg? Probably not. And by the way, bad job by you. You've done a good job with 4 straight wins. I'm going to give you a bad job, though. Good job, bad job, as Doggy likes to say, Mad Dog Russo. Bad job by you. You should have got Jeremy on the show today because you are the kiss of death and the jinx. I don't care what Hank Sawyer says. I don't know what Hank says, he's your buddy. But you could have jinxed him before you played him. And then that would have been.
I asked Jeremy to come on. He said, no, he said, Young, I know your game. You're trying to get me to come on, and Hatfield's jinx will mess me up.
No,
they're in
not
the lab.
No.
He calls the court the lab. He's in the lab coming up with all kind of things for us. And I said, Jeremy, you don't have to do a whole lot. And by the way, when you scout us, let me know what we're running so I'll know, because a lot of our
they played somebody else close. They beat Bruton. Did they take Warhill to the wire? They played somebody else to the wire. I forgot who it was this week.
But Jeremy's not blessed with tremendous athletic talent, but when you watch them play, they execute.
Yeah.
They don't get overly excited. They play defense. That back line is in there.
He's one of the best coaches around. There's no doubt about it. Yeah.
It's in there. And I took a timeout last night. I didn't even talk to our team in the timeout, and one of them I took last night because I was so hot. But like I said, that you
wear looser fitting clothes if you're so hot. Just wear shorts and a t-shirt. Isn't it 70 degrees back in Virginia? You would know better than me. You should be wearing a t-shirt and shorts. Go coach the game in flip-flops and shorts.
I know. That's my summer attire. That's why I coach in the summer. It's flops and shorts. Going back to, again, what I was saying about New Kent, what New Kent has, because we played them. The other thing that might hurt New Kent as they go deep is bench play. To win a state title, you better have excellent bench play. Somebody better be ready to come off that bench. And this is why I tell coaches, young coaches, do whatever you can to get your bench ready in the regular season. Because if you just stay with that 7-man rotation, then you need somebody off that bench in a key situation late, and they don't deliver, that's 100% coach's fault, not the player's fault. He was not programmed to get into that kind of situation, You throw him in, think he can do it. That's where Petersburg and Lake Taylor excel right now.
We mentioned Poquoson and Jeremy Jordan, your next opponent. And coming up next, we do have Jason Bryant of Poquoson. They have to talk about the Virginia Duals going on right now at the Hampton Coliseum, the 45th edition. It is 757 Sports Talk, and you're watching with us right here on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. Back with Twinkie. When we come back, you'll hear from Chichos too.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why parents count on CHKD Sports Medicine, advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries, just for young athletes like yours. With convenient locations across Hampton Roads and a whole team of experts here to keep your favorite player at the top of their game. CHKD Sports Medicine. Learn more at chkd.org or call the CHKD Sports Injury Hotline.
Cova Painting. We don't just paint, we transform spaces. Visit covapainting.com or call 757-550-7357 and mention the Sportsplex for 10% off of projects over $1,000.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever! The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger for a limited time, plus fries, drink, and a sundae. Yeah, this is not the time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. And there's bacon on that burger. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Now, for a limited time on the $7 meal deal lineup. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
What does happiness mean to you?
Being in the ocean with you, watching you catch super fun waves.
In Virginia Beach, happiness is breaking barriers and savoring the sunshine.
I couldn't pick a better place or a better person to be with. This is what makes me happy.
Happiness is going all out.
And taking it all in.
Here, happiness is whatever you make it. Find yours in Virginia Beach.
All right, here with Nansemond over senior Taron Atwater, 23 points tonight as they beat Catholic on the road, 62-60. Taron, this was a back-and-forth battle, but you got going there in the second and third quarter. You guys were down a few points. What got you guys ignited?
We started talking, and we realized that it's a game of runs at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And teammates stepped up. Mm-hmm. We had our point guard had a big game, and I stepped up and I hit my shots.
Sure.
And we came out with the win.
I know there's a big rivalry game on deck with Kings Fork on Tuesday, but public versus private matchup, Catholic's got a lot of talent. How much were you guys amped to go on the road and get revenge for last year's loss to them?
No, for sure. We definitely couldn't wait to come here and get our revenge. Last year they came home, they beat us, and we came back and returned the favor.
How much do you guys feel like you guys are progressing? 2 years ago, you lost a heartbreaker to Plus and Norview. You beat them this past year, lost to Woodside in the region semis. Do you feel like this is your time to make a state run in Class 5, and if so, why?
No, for sure. We definitely didn't like the feeling we ended with last year. That feeling sucked, and we're looking to go further and get a state title this year.
Sure, come on, let's run here. Break down your game. What makes you effective on the court, and why should a college recruit you? What are your traits that make you good?
I'm a pass-first guard. I look to get my teammates open, and I take my shots, and I make the right plays.
All right, so who do you watch in the pros? Who's your guy you like to watch and study on tape?
I'll probably say Anthony Edwards.
All right, you like Ant-Man from the Wolves. And lastly, for you guys to achieve your goals and get the big rivalry game coming up next week, what are the things you guys got to get better at to keep going and progressing?
Especially make free throws. For sure, next practice, we're going to get a lot of free throws up. And because clutch time, close game, we got to make free throws to put the game away.
Keep an eye on number one for the Nansemond Warriors, Taron Atwater. They win it on the road tonight. Thank you so much. All the best.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here is Matt Hatfield.
And we welcome you back to 757 Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe, and interact with us on Cova Sports TV, wherever you are tuning in. We have a special guest with us. He hails from the 757 and is going to be back in his stomping grounds this weekend for the Virginia Duals, 20 teams from Hampton Roads and many, many, many more. The 62nd edition getting underway at the Hampton Coliseum. He is a Hall of Fame sports writer, broadcaster, public address announcer, podcaster. He's done some Olympic work too. He's our pal from Poquoson, Jason Bryant. Jason, good to see you. Long time no chat. Thanks for popping on.
Yeah, it's a treat for me on Saturdays to see you and Ed out there, because back in the day, it was Richie on Saturdays. It was Mercurio on drive time, Castleberry in the morning. I mean, it was just the Richie and Dino show. So I'm glad to see that there is a tradition of sports talk still alive in Hampton Roads in the 757. And it's a guy who did a lot of things like I did growing up. You were going to the remotes with Tony. You were, sitting there just soaking up everything you could about sports broadcasting and sports in general. So, I remember, Matt, the first time I met you was at a remote, I believe it was like a wireless store right in the Kempsville area. Yeah. And I was like, who's this kid with the St. Louis Rams jersey? And that was my first interaction with Matthew Hatfield. And since then, from everything you're doing with Hatfield Sports, but it's a great way for me to stay connected with, I've been gone for 20 years. I left Virginia in 2005. I went to Pennsylvania, then I'm here in Minnesota, back to Colorado, now back here in Minnesota for the last 13 years. But the fact that I still keep up with the high school sports scene in Hampton Roads because of what you and Ed and it was Ed, when I saw Ed still, I was like, Ed in the mornings, it was such a throwback. And I get to share a little bit of home. I get to have a little bit of home with you guys on Saturday mornings when I listen. And again, the high school football school board show, which was like, a staple when I covered football, high school football for the Daily Press, and just being just we don't have that. I've lived all over the country, and there's nothing like the high school coverage in the Hampton Roads area from when the papers were actually doing a better job. That industry is what it is now, but having worked on the other side of the water, and just the passion for high school sports in that area is something I've never seen anywhere else. So it's great to see this Cova Sports TV, Matt, what you're doing with Ed. It just, again, it makes me feel good to know that no matter what, if I need information on what's going on in the high school football scene or high school sports scene, I know where to go. And that's not a paid plug. That makes me happy as a sports fan.
We appreciate it. We'll make sure the people at the hospitality room, which I hear is awesome at the Duals, by the way, take care of you.
Ever, by the way.
It's awesome. Yeah. My Virginia Preps Classic tries to give it a close second run for the money. But before we dig in on the wrestling, and we know Grassfield's doing great. There's an ODU alum coming back home, ODU baseball alum coming back home with his team this weekend. And you talked about, we both cut our teeth the same way growing up with, it was for you, I think, back then, score 13-10, the 94.1.
I've got a bumper sticker on a cup somewhere here. I've actually got a Peninsula Poseidon's Mason-Dixon Football League championship, 1992 championship patch just off screen here in my speakeasy. I've got some vintage. I got an Admiral's pennant back there. I got some Virginia Squire stuff. I got Virginia Roadsters. I was a PA announcer for them for a very short time, their inaugural season. So, yeah, when we go home, we talk about those things. It's just like,
Well, let me go there, because we both have an appreciation for the high school realm, be it football, basketball, baseball, wrestling, you name it, the local sports, Tides, Admirals, everything involved, college, and it all ties back to the 757. So for folks that are unfamiliar with Jason from Poquoson and how you become this nationwide phenomenon with wrestling and on the mic, tell us how you got into it and how you've gotten so entrenched in the sport of wrestling.
Well, it was a happy accident. Wrestling was a happy accident because I grew up in Newport News originally. I was in the Menchville area, and I was a sports fan. And I remember the first time I ever called 1310, 497-1310 on the south side. I think it's 826-1310 on the peninsula, and it was Jason from Newport News. I was in the 5th grade. I was 10 years old the first time I ever called in. I had this strange, affinity for teams that were like new. Like I remember Xavier got into the top 25 on Sports. I would miss the bus in the morning because I would watch Sports Center trying to get highlights of the Orlando Magic. And they were an expansion team. I like the logo. Who's this team? Xavier 24. And then I'm scanning the radio dials at night, falling asleep, trying to listen. And I could pick up 700 WLW out of Cincinnati. Pete Gillen was the coach of the Musketeers then. Got to be a real big fan of them. And of course, listening to that school in Norfolk, my alma mater, which I'm not really, I'm not gonna disparage your broadcast employer here on the show. But again, listen to a lot of those games. Had season tickets to men's and women's basketball, spent many a day at Scope in the field house. So I was a sports fan. We moved to Poquoson when I was in the 7th grade, still kept on. I was working in the press box at the Poseidon's games as a volunteer with Andy Cohen, who was the PA announcer, the Fasella brothers, George and Ed, who I would later learn had quite a wrestling background. And I still see Ed from time to time because his son wrestled at Poquoson and Matthews, and then wrestled Division I in Appalachian State. But getting into wrestling was, again, a happy accident, because if you know high school sports in the area, you know that Poquoson's a wrestling town. They've done really well on the baseball field and the football field as of late. But in my era, I mean, the basketball team wasn't doing so hot. And I think when I moved there, they were over, and I think up until my senior year, there was a stretch there where like 5 years they'd won like 13 games. Then alum Todd Bowden took over the program, and they did pretty good there in the late 90s moving on. But it's a proud sports city. Yes, it's a city. It has more than 10,000 people. When I left, it had one stoplight when I graduated in 1997, but still kept listening to Tony, still kept listening to John, Richie, and Dino. Actually, Corey Williams, the old coach at Cox High School, sent me a shot the other day. Him and Dino were out somewhere, and he's like, hey, it was like Dino actually sent it to me. I'm like, how do you – everybody knows Corey Williams. My sister runs into him at like New Rome Brewing down in Virginia Beach. So I still get all these tie-ins from back in actually before it was Score 1310, AM Sports Radio 1310, before it was ESPN. It was before it was the Score. I mean, Eagle 97 was the FM station at the time. Even that was right after 97 Star. For those of you over 40 know what I'm talking about. But I was the sports kid. I knew about it. Went to all the high school football games, and I was always interested in announcing and broadcasting. I wanted to be a sports broadcaster. So again, I was soaking up as much as I could. And we were fortunate to have a good sports talk station that was talking about local sports too. That was the key. The Tides, the old Tidewater Tides at the time, the Hampton Roads Admirals. There were just so many good stories that a budding sports fan like me, a kid that just loves sports, had access to see, Division I athletics, had access to, at the time, Division II with Hampton University and William and Mary up the road. So with their, in the CAA. So had a lot of chances to see those teams. And I just fell in love with sports. And I guess a stats mind. I was that nerd that, memorized all the Division I mascots when I was in the 9th grade with that big fat sports almanac and stuff like that. And, and then calling in the shows. And then when I was a high school sophomore, I knew Poquoson was a pretty good wrestling program. It's kind of hard to miss with all the banners that were hanging in the gym. And, there was just a passion for the sport. It's a sports crazed town. I went to a match on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night in 1995 as a sophomore in high school. My buddy Terry Daniels, who was one of these local sports townies, you still see him he still goes to the Admirals games and all the Poquoson sporting events. Picked me up. I didn't have a driver's license. I'm 15. I go to a match. We wrestled Deep Creek. 2 days later, he picks me up. We go to the Virginia Duals, and that is where the infatuation with wrestling began. And that next year, I was there working for the high school paper covering it. Then, my senior year in high school, I actually started up. I worked a part-time job at the Daily Press, snagging phones, and I was there helping do agate. Mike Holtzclaw did a lot of the beat back then. Marty O'Brien, I've known since I was 9th grade. That guy has just been great to me over the years. All these guys that are covering the high school sports scene, I'm there, with the agate. And then Matt Talk, my radio show, started with Greg Martin and Henry Ayer back in 1997, which then 1997-98, my first year at ODU. In Whitehurst Hall right there, started Matt Talk Online off dial-up. And then, I started announcing too. I've been doing PA announcing. I did baseball as a freshman. By the time I was a senior in high school, I announced 8 sports. Had a short spell of an attempt to wrestle. It was not long. Got beat up quite a bit, and it's like, and then ultimately my senior year, the hours at the Daily Press picked up. That's where I wanted to be. My coach knew it too. So ultimately that's where, I was working nights at the Daily Press, had doing student radio at WODU with men's, women's basketball, announcing high school wrestling tournaments on the weekends. So it really I took everything I loved about sports and the opportunity to get reps on the microphone and stuff. They were there for wrestling. Ken Berger was the guy that announces the state tournament. He'll be announcing the Virginia Duals this weekend. This will be his last time on the mic there, as he's gonna be retiring from the microphone there. And he's been the voice of marathons and road races. He did the Olympics in 2012 in London. It's just that love affair with wrestling just it took all the things I liked about sports. Wrestling is a sport where you can't pass to a teammate. You can't blame it on the referee. You can't call timeout in the prime position. As a combat sport, it's like the purity of it. And that's kind of one of the things. It's a niche sport. If you like sports, wrestling has got, even though it's a weird sport, yeah, and it's not for everybody, but at the same point, it takes everything that's great about sports and it boils itself down to the most basic. Me versus you, better man or woman wins. It's that simple. So, looking at it that way, it was a really easy sport to be attracted to in terms of, what I wanted to do with broadcasting. And I never realized that's where my career was going to go. I thought honestly, I thought I'd be sitting where you were at that age. I thought I'd still be there. I thought I'd be working at then 13th. And I thought I'd be eventually on ESPN someday. That was where I thought I wanted to go. And then wrestling just kind of took me to a different career path that it's shown me the world. So it's something that was not my initial intent to say. I never said, hey, yeah, I want to announce the Olympics in wrestling one day. And, that wasn't on my senior will and testament, so to speak.
Pretty fun journey, though. And you can follow him on the Twitter or the X, as they now call it, Jason M. Bryant, our guest here on 757 Sports Talk, as we get you set for everything happening with the 62nd edition of the Virginia Duals at the Hampton Coliseum. Let's go there now, Jason, because it is wrestling time here. And we know in the 757, the tradition that Poquoson, your school, has the likes of Cox and Granby and Great Bridge and some others that had this tradition. Grassville right now is the top team. Who are some of the teams and athletes we should watch out for this coming weekend?
We got a really good field. And now the Virginia, I hate to correct you on air, but again, it's just one of the things. We're the 45th Virginia Duals in 2026. So we started in 81. So looking at it from the field, we've got, as far as I say, we got 16 teams that finished so let's set the stage again. We have 4 tournaments on Friday and Saturday. We start 9 a.m. Friday, the small American College Division. So that's 16 teams, Division II, Division III, and the NCAA, which is clubs, or in this case, where the apprentice school competes, since they're in that weird realm of not D3, but they've got a no man's land of athletics in this group called the NCAA, National Collegiate Wrestling Association, fills that gap. We have them, we have Liberty, then we have 7 D2s, 7 D3s on the small college division. That's a pretty stout tournament. They want to get in there. 3 of those Division II teams are ranked in the top 15 in the country. On the high school side, though, that is always where the bread and butter is. That is where the next generation of talent is coming from. That is the craziness. No matter the level, we've got 3 high school divisions. We've got the Town Bank American Division, local sponsor there. We have the Cliff Keen American Division. That's a national sponsor. And then the locals, the Black and Blue Division, the Gedem Services Black and Blue Division, Gedem Services, which were, when I was at ODU, right across the street was Gedem Termite and Pest Control. Charlie Church, big wrestling guy. Literally catty cornered from my house was his business. So if you'd ever driven down 40 Deuce at ODU and you saw that then it was an old red brick building, Gedem. Yep. Gedem's been a wrestling company ever since. And, Charlie's one of those guys that's been great. Not just to me personally, but to the sport of wrestling for decades. So, and it's just such a fitting sponsor. The Black and Blue Division, that is where you got a lot of the local teams there. It's an all Virginia field. That is sometimes will be the best tournament these kids ever wrestle in. Some of these teams, they'll have these kids, they'll never get to the state tournament. And this is the best atmosphere they'll have. You're huddled over the corner mats at the end they usually have the end of the Coliseum, those 2 mats, and you got the overhang. It gets loud. Every pin gets nuts. Every upset. Crazy things happen. So you got 3 16-team high school divisions. The out-of-state teams that are in the mix, they're in the 2 American high school divisions. We stopped calling it the national because we felt like it was almost preventing teams from wanting to come. It's like, oh, well, we're not good enough for the national division. Well, no, we'll come wrestle you. So we basically take 32 of those teams and we kind of split them up evenly into the 2 American divisions. So that's how we get a good field. Every team is guaranteed 4 matches. The format I implemented a couple years ago, I call it a progressive bracketing. It's not exactly what it's called, but I know for some reason, basically every team gets 4 matches. And instead of 8 teams going 0-2, Matt, you know this from sports, from bracketing tournament stuff, when you come out, you get 2 games, you're out. Well, we're going to get every team 4 matches. And if you win, you're going to wrestle somebody that wins. If you lose, you're going to wrestle somebody that loses. That way you wrestle out completely to a 15th, 16th place. So sadly, there are still going to be 1 team in every bracket that goes 0-4. But you want craziness, that 15th place match on Saturday afternoon, it is nuts because those kids, they haven't won a dual meet all weekend, but they're fighting at it. And that's the one thing I love about it it's such an atmosphere. It was the atmosphere that drew me into wrestling. So we've got some, of those 15 teams, 11 teams ranked in the state. Of course, you mentioned Grassfield, ranked number 1 in the state by VA Wrestling. Looking at that, we have 5 of the 6 Class state champions are back. We don't have the Class 4 team, but the Class 1, Class 2, Class 3, Class 5, and Class 6 state team champions from last year are in the field. And if you've been paying attention, I know, Matt, you already know this. This is the last year Grundy Senior High School will exist out in coal mining country in Buchanan County, as they said, Buchanan County. So Grundy will cease to exist. And as the rules state, the records don't follow a new school. They're consolidating the 3 high schools out there into what's going to be known as Southern Gap High School. So Grundy's 28 titles and counting across their decades of dominance in Virginia. They're going to wrestle Poquoson in the first round. And you want to talk about an old AA rivalry. That Poquoson Grundy has been a thing since the early 80s. And it's kind of fitting that the last hurrah for Grundy Senior High School, as it's known, the program's not going to change. It's not going to be the Golden Wave. It's going to be Southern Gap. And I think we're going to get, as somebody who's from Poquoson and somebody who knows people from Grundy and has always had a great respect for that program. That's one thing. That first round match, you've got history right there, and it's right there. The Class 1 and Class 2 champs meeting, all that history, all those battles in Salem and at the old Hampton University Convocation Center up at JMU, where they used to have the AA tournaments. It was just, there's so many stories between those two programs, and for them to meet first round, that right there is a story in itself.
I always equate their success in wrestling, Jason, to what Cox has done in field hockey or Hampton High in football. It's unbelievable and unparalleled in terms of a match with what they've accomplished. Now, you also told me, if I'm not mistaken, Jeff, your ODU baseball alum is bringing his team in from Utah. How about that?
Yeah, you got a couple. Outside of that, you've got a ton of ODU wrestling alumni coaching locally. I remember a couple years ago when that school in Norfolk still had a program. I interviewed for the old Monarch Maccast. One of the podcasts I had, there were 6 coaches in the Southeastern District that were ODU alums. That's just one district. And if you look across the state, they're everywhere. Now, Jeff Urey was a Pennsylvania high school state champion and arguably was the first or second best wrestler on campus. Him and Jeff Rusak. Jeff Rusak was my roommate at ODU. He was a nationally ranked wrestler. He was the number 5 seed at the 2002 NCAA championships up in Albany. Jeff was a 4-time national qualifier. Well, and Jeff, the other Jeff, was there playing baseball, was on Tony Guzzo's teams, and was a state champion. But he went to high school, went to college to play baseball. Well, he, after his run through the minors, I know he played out here in St. Paul. He played in Fargo-Moorhead towards the end of his baseball career, but also had some time in Utah. I'm going to ask him about this, how he ended up back in Utah, because he had some rookie ball out there. But he's been coaching Corner Canyon High School. They were 3rd in the state last year in Utah, and Utah's a good wrestling state. That guy, Cale Sanderson, people may have heard about. He's actually on a Wheaties box right behind me.
Yep.
That guy, he's from Utah. Utah's got a great wrestling tradition. So Corner Canyon's coming out. Roy Dragon was a heavyweight at ODU. He's bringing his team from Ridge, New Jersey down. So you got a couple alumni there. But Jeff, that was an interesting one when we got the application come through. I'm like, I knew he was coaching wrestling. And then all of a sudden it comes in. I'm like, dude. So I've also reached out to Harry Manningham. I know he's in Germany right now, so I don't know if we're going to get.
No, Harry just got back.
He just got back. Hopefully,
he was in Germany. He just got back for one of our.
We can get some plug there for a couple of those alumni coming back, because that's just a cool thing about it. But yeah, Jeff's bringing his team back. We've got Lakeside, Arkansas. Well, first of all, first time we've ever had a team from Utah in 45 years, the Virginia Duals, and we've got a team from Arkansas, really? Lakeside. They're the 5A state champions. They're coming in. First time we've ever had a team from Arkansas. That hasn't been an opportunity until 2007. The state didn't even have high school wrestling until 2007. Now they have multiple college programs. They have a Division I team. They were Little Rock. I announced there for 5 years when they were starting the program. They've got Division I wrestling in a state that didn't even have high school wrestling until 2007. They've got multiple. I mean, it's just the growth there. And so I'm excited for that, to have a team from Arkansas come in. One of college buddies, Jeff from Utah, coming in. And then, of course, you've got your Nazareths, which will come in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Coach Dave Kroll. They're the only team outside of Virginia. They'll be making their 30th appearance. So the Blue Eagles at District 11. District 11, let's put this in a Peninsula Hampton Road sports ring. The District 11 in wrestling to Pennsylvania is the 7-5-7 to football to Virginia. It is just, that's where the hammers are. That when you want to recruit top talent nationwide for wrestling, you're going to District 11, the Lehigh Valley. You're going Easton, Nazareth. We got two more teams from District 11 from Bethlehem, Freedom and Liberty. They're going to be here. So you get Pennsylvania teams, and it's like, the Eastern region back in the day when we had sanity with the VHSL divisions. The Eastern region was the cream of the crop in Virginia back when I was coming through. And, even in the AA, it was the Bay Rivers district. So that's what the Lehigh Valley and Nazareth and those teams also bring to the table. Western PA, McGuffey, that's just knocked down. Just the Whippeal. That's another hotbed of wrestling. The WPIAL is where, if it's not District 11, it's the Whippeal where you're getting your kids. So you're going to get a cross section, and New Jersey is always going to be tough.
Awesome. Just a wealth of information is he, Jason Bryant. Again, you can follow him on the X at Jason M. Bryant. Before we let you go, and I'm sure we'll get you back on here, we can talk all day with you about everything that you're entrenched with in wrestling. We'll do that. Tell the folks how they can find out more with the duels if they want to follow the updates throughout the event, post the event, and also if they want to hear some of your podcasts and material, be it outside even the duels and wrestling in general. How can they do so? What's the best way?
Yeah, I've been handling the website for, I don't even know, 20 some years on this thing. And it's something I volunteer for. It's again, a labor of love. It's the old club, the Peninsula Wrestling Association. And this is a fundraiser for the wrestling club. This is the event that helps pay to take the kids to trips in the off-season championships, to the national championships from the kids levels all the way up through high school, the Peninsula Wrestling Association, USA Wrestling Sanction Club. So it's a fundraiser. Have a youth event on that Sunday. We've got a kids rookie tournament and stuff. But VirginiaDuals.com, that's where you can find everything as far as the schedule, the website, the brackets. The event will be streaming on Flow Sports. So if you're a fan of those niche sports, you've seen a lot of them there. If I was watching Flow Hockey this weekend for the team I announced, St. Cloud State. The hockey team there, they were playing out in a tournament. I was watching Flow Hockey there. So if you've got a Flow Sports subscription in any sport, you can watch it through their Flow Wrestling vertical. There, of course, is a fee involved there. You can get your tickets through Ticketmaster on the front, VirginiaDuals.com. On the socials, at Virginia Duals on Facebook, at Virginia Duals on X, at VA Duals on Instagram. I'll be doing a lot more of the Instagram this year. I've been messing around with some more social media things. I've got a gimbal, Matt. I don't know why, because I'm more of a podcast nerd now, but
okay.
I'm going to be doing some stuff with the phone, doing some quick interviews. Apparently, I will not, however, be doing that little microphone in the face thing. Man, I hate that. As a broadcaster, I hate, it's like, just clip it, man. I don't even know. The road brick doesn't even bother me anymore, but the tiny thing is like, I don't need to interview this. Like, I've got a big microphone here. Let's talk here. But I go on so many tangents, but yeah, VirginiaDuals.com is where you can find all the socials. My stuff is at MadTalkOnline.com. That is the Mad Talk Podcast Network. I have a daily wrestling newsletter that is at MadTalkOnline.com/news. If you're familiar with Substack, I use that. That is where you get all sorts of stuff in there. It's daily news from around the world. I curate it. If you're a wrestling person and you want to know everything about everything, that's where you can do that. But yeah, Matt, it's been short, sweet, to the point. But real quick, I also want to say there's 114 state place winners in this tournament. 114 just on the high school side. So you are going to see some high quality talent. You're going to see, and if you're lucky enough to be on one of these coaching staffs, you're going to get the best hospitality room in the country. And I'm not a small guy. I sit around 250 pounds. I have in college, hospitality rooms was how I based my meals on ODU home men's and women's basketball games. So I know where good hospitality rooms are, and this is the best of the best of the best. And it's always been that way. So
listen, I'll tell you this, a couple of administrators that had never been to the duels before told me after they went to it, they said it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. They weren't even diehard wrestling fans. They said, and to top it off, the hospitality room, they say they would go back just for that, not even the wrestling. So kudos to everybody over there and also yourself for making this such a unique event that people look forward to, put it on the calendar year after year after year. He is Jason Bryant. Thank you so much, my friend. We're going to get you back on when Ed's available to join us, when he's not teaching or practicing teaching or teaching practice, so he can talk to you.
No matter the sport, coaches never stay retired, even if they said they've retired 15 times. Ed's never going to retire, and he's never going to stop doing what he loves. And that's what I love about Ed Young.
That's correct. Well, thank you so much, Jason Bryant. Give him a follow on the X and Twitter, all the things he does. You heard him mention the Substack as well, and everything with Virginia Duals. Again, VirginiaDuals.com is the website. Flow Sports, you can check it out and also see all the social pages from the X to the Facebook to the IG and so much more. Always a pleasure. Enjoy the wrestling, my friend. We'll talk again soon.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate the time.
We've got more coming your way. It is 757 Sports Talk right here on Cova Sports TV. Make sure you like, you share, and you always subscribe and interact with us. Stay tuned.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there. Because here, you are more. One Life Fitness.
All right, here with the talented Kings Fork standout, Rylie Hite, 33 points as her team wins 76-41 over Deep Creek on the road in a Southeastern District matchup. Rylie, you were cooking tonight, 33 points. I understand it's not your career high, but I think it matches your season high for the season. What was working so well for you out there on the court tonight?
Just go. Don't worry about anything. Just play. Be free.
Sure. We've watched you since freshman year come up with this Kings Fork program and get better and better. What's different about your game now from when you first started at the high school level in your eyes?
It's a different role. I had to play a different role as a freshman. I had a lot more around me, but now as a leader, being a captain, got to orchestrate more, get everybody together, and just go out and play.
Certainly, Kings Fork's got a history of competing for championships, and you've been in the state tournament before. We know how good Princess Anne and Menchville are, teams that you can see again down the road. But what's the strength of this basketball team right now in your eyes?
We have a lot of power, a lot of star power. I think we have great mismatches that a lot of people will have struggled to guard, and I think that's going to get us far.
Sure. Now, you've made a commitment. You're going to play your college basketball at East Carolina University. Tell us what distinguished them among the other schools that were recruiting you.
I think they was just – it felt good. It felt like a home. They recruited me hard. It felt good. They feel like a family over there.
Yeah, and it's so different now in college basketball where a lot of schools are recruiting not as many high school players, the portal. What was it that East Carolina liked most about your game?
How hard I play. My defense, I'm able to score the ball on all three levels, so they like that about me. I'm ready to do that as a freshman.
Sure, you've grown up in a basketball family. Your dad, who's the boys' basketball coach, played some hoops. Your older brother played some hoops. What was it like just on the battles in the playground, I guess, with older bro? And I know you can tell me, you can be honest here. I know Pops will disagree. You can take him one-on-one and in horse, but how about older bro? Can you take him one-on-one on horse yet? Or?
I think I can now. Okay. He's a little bit bigger and stronger than me, but, had a lot of battles.
How'd that help, though, playing older players, be it female players or even your older brother, Pops? What did that do for your development in your eyes?
It's just them being hard on me, helped me grow a lot, so prepare me for moments like this.
Should come on, let you run. What do you like most about basketball? What do you like most about the game?
It's just fun, like just going out there and being able to play in front of everybody, show what you got.
Sure. And I know you have big goals for the rest of the season, individually and then team-wise. What are the things you're trying to accomplish before you head off to ECU in Greenville?
I just want to be prepared going into college as an individual. I want to win a ring as a team, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
She's a competitor, a bucket getter, and a winner. Rylie Hite of Kings Fork High School. Thank you so much. All the best. Okay, here with Kings Fork head basketball coach Rick Hite. His Bulldogs win it by a count of 78-50 over the Deep Creek Hornets on the road to move their record to, I believe, 7-1 of the season, coach. You've been averaging about 75 a game. You get close to 80 tonight. And let's start with Melvin Wofford. He's a name that's going to be a breakout player this year in a 7x7. 25 points, 9 rebounds, 6 steals, 5 assists. He's pretty impressive, isn't he?
He's a tough kid. He's an impressive kid. He's a captain on our team. He's been with me the longest. And I said that people are going to start giving him his props.
5'9" junior, right?
5'9" junior.
Now, you've had some headline players, the names of Jaden Epps and George Bill come to mind, who are playing, power forward basketball, if you will, in big leagues like the SEC and Big 12. But this team has no seniors, I think, in your top 7 or 8, or you have one?
One senior. One senior on the whole team.
And that is?
Caleb Oteni.
Yeah.
But we're a young team. We're a hungry team. Probably one of my favorite teams. Mm-hmm. And for sure, the most chemistry, the best chemistry of any team I've ever had.
What was apparent here in the opening quarter was you had, I think, 5 of your first 8 3-point shots, including a freshman off the bench for you in Desmond DJ Hubbard.
DJ Hubbard, he's a dog. I've been telling people, I don't know why people kind of wrote us off. These kids are hungry kids. They play a lot of basketball, play a lot of high-level basketball in the summer. So we're gonna be all right.
You went down to that, was it the Florida tournament? You played
down to Florida, Holiday Basketball Classic.
Yeah, you played against Fairfax Christian, some good competition. You've been at it for a couple of years now, going on the road with your team. What does that do for your group to even build more of a bond and camaraderie?
I mean, I've said it 100 times. 5B is a tough region. And so it prepares us for the grind, the physicality, the talent. And so, that's why we do it, and I think, we'll be better prepared this year.
Because 5B is so deep, I just spoke about this with Stephon Welsh at Woodside recently, who won a couple state titles. It feels like, you reload, you graduate guys like they did, Barksdale and pieces of that nature, but you guys have an identity just like they do. You have what is that? Is it just the aggressiveness and play fast?
Me and Steph talk all the time. We both feel slighted by it. No lie. Like, we don't worry about who left. We know who we have. And so, when the thing is all said and done, we'll be right back where we think we should be.
Got some guy from the outside that can shoot the basketball. Certainly wasn't Tyson Harper's best night, but he's the guy that left open. He ran off 6-7 threes, right?
A little Hite tonight, former school, but he's one of the best shooters in the state, hands down.
Dakota White, another player for you. Tell the folks what he brings to your team. He's a slasher, right?
Yeah, he's a big guard that can handle it. He will always have a mismatch. He's a scorer. We got people that can put the ball in the basket.
Yeah,
he's one of them.
Another freshman for you is Isaiah Inman, is it?
Isaiah Inman. He's
6'5". He's a player.
He's going to be one.
Yeah.
He's going to be one. He ain't have a good game tonight, like his normal game, but he's going to be one. Mark my words.
Depth, how important is that as you go through the rigors of this? We know you got a big rivalry game coming up on Tuesday. I know you got Green Run on deck, but how much is that to be able to play 8, 9, 10? You did that early on in the game.
Yeah, that's what we do. You know me. Like this they up here to play. I don't bring guys up here to carry bags. They up here to play. We play hard in practice, and we're going to play hard in games.
What did you notice about this group in the off season, be it the summertime, the fall, as you prep for this winter, that made you feel like this team could be a special unit?
I knew, because they like each other. I knew. I knew. And I think I even told you on paper, I'm like, I don't care what nobody say, but this group is going to be a group.
Sure. Last two for you. How much does that matter that they have to like each other in today's culture nowadays?
No, it's everything. I think the last couple of years we were a talented group, didn't always gel off the court. This group does that.
I think one of the things we wondered about was who would be your go-to guy. It looks like tonight Wofford can be that. Is that something that's a luxury that you don't have to have a go-to guy? What do you have to get better at?
We just got to get better at just getting stops. We go in these little periods where we just want to score so much that we don't always put the foot on them on defense. But we could turn it up when we need to turn it up, and we did that in the second half tonight.
Well, Coach, Hite's Bulldogs from Suffolk still have some bite. Thank you so much. All the best.
No, appreciate.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Time now to close out this episode of 757 Sports Talk with some NFL picks. You heard from the Heights, Rylie Hite, who's going to East Carolina, 33 points for her, scorching the Nets, and Coach Rick Hite. They get ready to take on Nansemond River on Tuesday. Ed, as we get ready to make some picks, though, you're going to go out on a limb and make a prediction winner on Nansemond Kings Fork at Nansemond. You're not a part of the rivalry anymore. You're shaking your head, ooh. Or do you want to reserve judgment until you get a result from the Kings Fork Green Run game in the nightcap of the MABC at Atlantic Shores? And then make a pick?
I've seen Nansemond play a little bit this year.
Have you seen Kings Fork yet? Okay, you have
not seen Kings Fork. I'm going to say Nansemond by 4 in a close battle.
Wow.
They've shown it. They were down to who was it? Granby. Granby was rolling on them when I saw them at Norview. Nansemond River was calm, relaxed. Did their thing. Bit by bit, came back, knocked the shots down, won the game. And I understand the same way the other day. So I think they can do that. I don't think they'll be fazed by Kings Fork's roughness, toughness, which is how they play, because they faced it all the time. So I'm going to go Nansemond by 4.
All right, those are the regular season picks for the NFL, 27-27. Bruce went 25-29, a 1-2 week for me to finish, which was not pleasant. And Edward at 22-32 to close out things. Any quick thoughts before you make your picks here for this week in the National Football League? You were upset for some unknown reason. I have no idea why. You were upset about the Raiders. They had the number 1 pick already sold up. Why were you so mad about that?
I had picked Kansas City to win that game.
Okay, but why it didn't matter? They already had the number 1 pick before the game even started. I didn't understand why you were so mad.
That's what I'm saying, though. I'm just worried about my picks, because didn't I go 2-1?
No, you went 1-2, so you're 10 games under to finish the season. I win the title at 500, which is never something to brag about. Let's go to Bruce's picks. He's got Bills plus the 1.5 against the Jags. The Pats laying 3.5 at home on Sunday night against the Chargers, and Houston laying the 3. Diabolical's that there's a Raiders fan too, just like you.
We're both suffering.
Ed. What's that?
We are both suffering.
You're suffering succotash. And he wants Mendoza in Vegas, he says. Unlike you. You want a lineman. Let's get to it. My first pick here to start things off. I'll put a little music in the background for us. I'm going to go with, believe it or not, an over-under to start things off for the postseason. How about that? I think it's going to be a lot of points in the Jacksonville and Buffalo game, and thus I'm going to take over 51.5 going first here for Jags and Bills. What do you say about that one, sir?
Good pick. I like that.
Might be 34-31 shootout with Josh Allen and Trevor Lawrence down in the Sunshine State.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a whole lot of points too. I'm a little ticked at Bruce. He took one of my guarantee Barkley pick. Guarantee. New England. That's a guarantee. So now
they might win by a field goal. Knowing your luck, they only win by 3 and they would lose by half a point. But who's your first two picks?
I'm going to go Philly over San Francisco minus 5.5.
That's a lot of points. Okay.
It's a lot of points. And I'm going to go over Rams, Carolina, 45.5. That's easily 50 points. And maybe 40 of them by the Rams.
Well, to go there, I think it's a blowout this week. I'm going to go with the Rams land the 10.5. I know that's a huge number. It's actually 10 now. Can I get it at 10? I'll get it at 10. If I get a push. It's dropped down half a point. I think they smoke them after losing to them the first go-round. I think they'll go on the road, have a sharp effort. It's Bryce Young's first playoff game. This could be dicey for them. And for my final selection, I looked hard at the under in the Packers-Bears game tonight, but overtime scares me about losing it that way, so I will lay off that. I'm going to go to Monday Night Football. I don't believe in the Steelers. They were lucky as I don't know what to win against the Ravens. Yeah, I said lucky because that field goal should have gone through. Give me Houston to lay the 3 now. It was 3.5. I'll take the 3. Their defense will step up, and Aaron Rodgers will look like an old man, just like Ed Young. He'll look like an old man when it's all said and done. Your final selection, sir.
Be ready now. Give me the Bears. The Bears plus 1.5 over the Green Bay Packers.
So to recap, the picks, Bruce has got Patriots, Bills, and Texans. Ed's got Eagles, land of points, Bears getting the 1.5 and over, and Rams, Panthers. I've got over 51.5 Jags, Bills, Rams, and Texans. That will wrap it up for this episode of 757. Enjoy your football weekend, and we'll talk to you next time right here on Coach Sports TV.